What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Ask Deadly. This is the weekly show where I read your guys' comments and we talk about it a little bit. So let's get started. The first comment this week is coming in from Stanley Compton. Deadly, will you ever do a Stalker playthrough on YouTube? Yeah, I've talked about it. I believe I've actually uploaded Stalker videos before and unlisted them because I didn't complete the series. I think I definitely need to increase the diversity of content here because I love Escape from Tarkov, but making a new Escape from Tarkov video every single day is actually rather challenging unless I just want to upload cool stream moments, which I think you guys are okay with, especially those that miss the broadcast. But I think I would definitely want to do more games. So Stalker is not a terrible idea, but I kind of want to focus on games that are coming out that are fresh and new and exciting, that we can sort of discover together instead of a game that has been out for, what is it, over 10 years now, or almost 10 years. 2007, I think, is when Stalker came out for the first time. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's been a long time. So only if there's really nothing else that is really going on my channel, then I would actually start a Stalker playthrough and see how it goes. But yeah, well, like I'm not gonna make any promises, but for filler content, I'm gonna focus on new survival MMOs, new survival games. I think the next survival game we're gonna be playing is Survive the Nights. Last week, I mentioned that it was supposed to be coming out around December 8th. Unfortunately, the developers have pushed back the release of the game again. So it's looking like any day this week, we're going to be getting our hands on Survive the Nights. I have my keys, so I already have it on Steam, and I have 4 additional keys to give away on my Twitch channel. So follow me on Twitter, guys, and you'll get a chance to win a copy of the game during one of my live streams. Twitter will let you know whenever the game is going live and when I'm going to be streaming the game. Lol, who else thinks DayZ will never be done? Yeah, I get your cheeky comment, but no, in all seriousness, it won't be. I think DayZ will be continued to be developed until nobody's playing the game anymore or Bohemia scraps the project, and that's it. Because they're going to be trying to move on to the console market, which I think is a bad decision, personally. It's clear that they're doing that for financial reasons. I just hope that they just focus more so on the PC project and get it done whenever DayZ hits beta. So continual patches, continual updates, and then the mods are going to take it over from there, which is kind of technically the game still kind of moving on into the future. But yeah, DayZ is just one of those games. There's no DLC for DayZ. Like, if they ever did that, that would be kind of suicidal, in my opinion, for the game. So yeah, it's going to be continued to be developed until it fizzles out and dies. I mean, the mod is still receiving the occasional update, which is crazy. So yeah, it's just one of those types of games, man. You're going to see it for a while, whether or not people are playing it or not. I'm also just going to have a discussion about a lot of comments. The vast majority of the comments in last week's video was basically talking about how DayZ's already dead, or if I'm beating a dead horse, or I'm better off moving to a different game. Thank you guys for all your discussion. And also, somebody mentioned, I think, Venom. I respect you, Deadly, but you're kind of kicking a dead horse. Well, it is an Ask Deadly episode, and I'm going to be talking about popular topics, and probably the most asked question during my live streams was about the status report, even though a lot of you guys here on the channel have probably heard me repeatedly, over and over and over again, say the same sort of stance. I need to mention it if I'm going to be discussing the status report or the status of the game. You know what I mean? So you might hear some regurgitated madness, especially if you watch my live streams on a regular basis. A couple other comments saying that DayZ's yesterday's news and stuff like that. Guys, listen up, okay? The only reason why DayZ is really still a thing that we talk about is because nobody else has done it better yet. So until somebody else creates a better version of the game, we're sort of stuck with it, whether or not you like it or not. People who are interested in the survival MMO community, we don't have any other option. Escape from Tarkov is sort of a great mediator between survival MMO shooters and like a hardcore survival shooter. But it doesn't really give you the persistent environment in the open world that DayZ gives you. And Miscreated is just, there's a lot of things that are wrong with Miscreated, there's a lot of things that it does right. And then when you have H1Z1 Just Survive, both those games are in an arguably worse state than Standalone is. So I think all the other competitors have just created worse DayZ mods than Standalone did, even though they didn't do the greatest job, if that makes any sense. We got a really awesome comment from Boydie73, another YouTuber. Check out the channel as well. I'm really worried about the powers that server owners and admins will have, such as God Mode, Insta-Kill, teleporting players, and etc. He's talking about Survive the Nights. The ability to wipe areas as somebody's base simply by typing a command. What are your thoughts in Survive the Nights, mate? I think actually giving the admins the more control over their own servers is a good thing. And if people exploit that, let's say you have terrible admins, well, no one is going to be playing on that server. I think tools like that are going to enable good admins and good servers to have more creativity, clean up the server, have more control over the server, run more unique events and challenges, and really just craft and hone down what they want to go on and have full control over everything that happens on the server. Arguably, DayZ admins wish they had the abilities to do things like that, especially when it comes to like clearing out entire areas, including somebody's base. Well, if you have a lot of junk that is scattered across the entire map, that's going to kill server performance. So having the ability, or the admins having the ability to make their servers perform better is a good thing in my opinion. Of course, you will get assholes. I mean, assholes are everywhere. You're going to get some little 12-year-old guy, or 12-year-old kid, sorry, that gets access to the admin keys and then just starts killing everybody in God mode. I know, that's going to be annoying. Just don't play on those servers. It's going to be a good thing, I think. Scum is nothing like DayZ. You can see people through walls with superhuman abilities. Not a survival game, it's a battle royale game. So you are right and wrong. Scum is like DayZ though. In fact, Scum is looking very closely at DayZ standalone on what they did wrong and trying to correct those mistakes. But they are not trying to be an exact copy. They are moving in their own direction and doing their own thing with their persistent game show world that they plan on bringing in. So there's going to be a battle royale style game, but there's also going to be an MMO survival aspect to the game as well. Especially though, it will be very combat oriented. So there's no question about that. It's definitely going to be more combat than standalone. You're not going to have as many encounters, but that encounter based content will be feasible, which is going to be pretty interesting. So it will be like DayZ in a lot of ways and different in its own way. And you know, it's still going to be a part of the genre. It's close enough. It's way closer to the genre than Rust or Ark, for example. And a lot of people consider DayZ, Ark, and Rust to be comparable games. So it's really hard. You're always stepping on somebody's toes whenever you're comparing apples to oranges. It happens, but whenever these early access games are coming out, we need to have a reference point to compare something to, if that makes any sense, or a category for the game to be put in. And Scum is very similar to DayZ in that regard. It was inspired by it for sure. Now, when it comes to the superhuman abilities, I think a lot of people have been vocal enough. They've made a video recently talking about some of the changes they've made to that system, that you can skill into it. You're going to have attribute points. The idea behind that is picking up on your senses. So showing you what your character would be thinking. So outlining a player and showing them like their potential movement behind a wall is a skill that, like, if you were to watch somebody moving from left to right behind a wall, your brain, you would be doing this subconsciously yourself. So that is the idea behind it. There's a lot of holes in that system though. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think the movement of the player whenever they sort of start to disappear needs to be randomized. It shouldn't be exactly what the player is doing, but your character guessing that player movement. So you might actually be wrong. So relying on a system like that could actually be to your downfall at times. But again, that system needs to be worked on. The game's not even out. I'm sure they've received a lot of criticism on that. I think that's one of the biggest criticisms for the game. The fact that you cannot actually see enemies though in third person when you're behind cover is awesome. No other game has really done that, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works. There's a lot of interesting mechanics that might play really well or might be really bad. And the only way we're going to be able to tell is once we get our hands on it, so we can start to criticize the game and really start to provide feedback on what's good and bad. So Forrest Gump 1992, we're going to have to wait and see. Deadly, would you consider playing more PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds with the absence of DayZ? Love watching you play. Could see you dominating PlayerUnknown's if you played it more. Yeah, I have a playlist of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds content from whenever the game first came out, and I actually was doing quite well. I would get a lot of wins, a lot of high kill games, but basically Tarkov took me away from that, and I was doing Escape from Tarkov and DayZ at the same time, and going back and playing PUBG, it's sort of like, people seem to be bored with it, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like, I enjoy playing it for an hour or two, and I haven't played it. I think I would enjoy that game a lot more if I played it solo. I usually only play it with groups of 2 or with a squad, and I've mentioned that a few times before. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. So, yeah, it might happen. We'll see. I don't know. I'm still technically a PUBG partner. I play it once a week on the stream, usually on Thursdays. So Thursday afternoon, I play pub, and they just released a new map, so I might go check it out. But my issue with pub is there doesn't seem to be any progression. So I can continue to play the game and get these high kill count moments, but there's so many other people that are doing that. So many other people are streaming it. There's lots of videos. There's already an established content creator circle and streamer community that I'm not really a part of. You know, people don't recognize me for being a PUBG player, so there's not a whole lot of incentive for me to get back into that genre. But again, maybe. It depends. If I have some crazy games on Thursday, then you might see some highlights. I'm not going to rule it out. We'll see. Alright guys, now it's time to leave me some comments for next week. Ask away anything that you guys want me to talk about or anything you want me to touch on. It can be channel related, gaming community, personal, you name it, you ask away. I'll be choosing some of the top comments and doing my best to answer them. And again, guys, make sure you guys check out the live streams every single day starting at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sundays at noon. And I'll see you guys again here on the channel for some more Escape from... Wow, I messed that one up. I'll see you guys again on the channel for more DayZ, maybe, and Escape from Tarkov content. And thank you guys for being so awesome and watching the videos. See you next time.